Hi, this is Adolph Oliver, and this is a short little introduction to different types of graphs. You'll be learning more about these in intermediate algebra and especially in statistics. But first, bar graphs. And here's a classic example. You'd expect, of course, a bar graph to be made out of bars. And what it does is the height of the graph, each one of the bars here, can be read over on the side, and you can compare the amount that each one represents. They're labeled underneath here. And this one, of course, has the most, this one the least, and the other guys in between. Now, they can be done a lot of different ways. Here's an example of something a little bit fancier. Okay, the bars here are a little more stylized. Again, you've got labels of what each of the bar represents, and along the left edge here a scale to be able to read off the value, just the top of each bar go across. Bar graphs are designed to be able to let you see quickly the relative amounts of certain things. For instance, this lower bar is the least, this bar here is the most, the others are in between. The idea with graphs, of course, is always to be able to give you a quick idea of what is going on. They're not meant to give you exact values, but you don't have to do any equations. You can just look and see what's here. And for displaying a lot of data to the public, they are very useful. Well, these are the bar graphs. Let's move on now and talk about the next type we're going to deal with, line graphs. Line graphs are good to be able to show you how things change with time. So, for instance, in this one here, we've got days going across, and then up here the temperature, and the line shows that it was increasing for a while, then it decreased, and it increased again. So looking at changes over time, line graphs do that very well. Now you can of course have more than one line on the graph. So here's an example where we've got two different lines here. And one of them talks about the total amount in the orange, the other one the expenditure down here, and of course time is the common thing along the bottom. So you see listed here years, and again over here the amounts along the left. So once again, you can very quickly, for a given year, go up, hit the line, come across, and say, okay, that's about the value right there. Again, line graphs are designed to show you changes over time, and you can quickly, for a particular time, hit the line and go across and read off about what the value is on the vertical axis. Well, one more type to take a look at here. Remember, again, you're going to see a lot more of these guys when you get to statistics. But the next one we're going to talk about here is the pie chart. Some folks call these circle graphs, but the pie chart is kind of the classic name. And what it's good for is to show you how each part is in size relative to the whole. This could be your whole expenditure that you have here, and each of the slices represents how much spent on different parts. They'll be labeled so you can see what they are, and of course many times they'll give the actual percent, but the idea is here to be able to look at this, and we can see that this bluish slice here is the biggest one for sure, and then after that probably the green, and then the red, the purple, the smallest slice representing that part out of the whole is the darker green right here. Well, these of course can be stylized and written and designed all kinds of fancy ways. Computer programs nowadays do a very good job of drawing these things up, so they can put them kind of, on the slant here, and even have some slices standing out a little bit more. And again, here the color codes along the bottom represent what each of the slices are. And again, this purplish one here is the largest, then the yellow, and so you can see very quickly, you know, where most of what this pie chart represents is going. Most of it's going to purple, then the yellow. These other little slices right here are just small little pieces of it. So pie chart's a great way to be able to indicate how much you have out of the whole. The whole may be your income, it could be school expenditures, it could be the water in a reservoir system and where it's going to end up being used. There's an unlimited number of things that the pie chart could represent. Well, from simple ones like this to the more complicated one we just looked at, nowadays, of course, you can get the computers to draw these for you and put them in colors, but you're going to have to understand how to set it up so you get the computer to do the correct thing. Okay, well anyway, there's our quick little introduction to different types of charts. We had the bar graph, the line graph, and then the pie charts.